Welcome to Actual Scale Modelling. This is part 4 of Revell Star Wars X34 Landspeeder. The scale is 1 to 14. And this part, I'm going to be carrying on the build with working on the engines, putting the two halves together, and hopefully getting around to placing some decals on. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. I'm going back to the figures and I'm using Revell Color 82 Dark Earth, and this is for the hair. Then it's onto CP30 and it's Revell Color 12 Yellow, and this is just highlighting the eye area. And now to mask off a little bit of the engine cowl, I'm using two pieces of the masking tape here. The first part is just to give me the measurement I need, so it's just a little bit of masking tape around from the hard edge of the cowl. Then the second piece will go directly below that. Then once that's on, I will remove that first piece, and that'll give me the area that I need to paint. And I'm using the colour mix of Revell Color 37 reddish brown 80% and Revell Color 331 purple red 20%. For this colour. This is the same colour I've been using throughout the build. And once that's dry, I can now place in the figures inside the speeder. The CP3PO went in easily enough. There's a deep location mount for this. It clicks into the seat. As I said, the CP3 went in really well. The Luke Skywalker one, I couldn't quite get to go in, so I having to cut off the area just for it to sit in. It's not a big drama really to get to fit. I think maybe you were meant to fit these before the canopy went on. I'm not 100% sure, to tell you the truth, but either way it doesn't matter. I did get them to fit with a slight modification. And of course, it just gives you a little bit of room to manoeuvre as well. But at the end, as I said, they fitted quite well. So now it's back to the engine cowl, and I'm just painting the reverse side of the part that I've already painted. I had to wait until it was dry because it does need a bit of handling. So the same method was used with the masking tape before painting on the reddish brown colour. And it was the same process on the actual main unit itself with the masking tape and painting in the colour mix. Needless to say, the goal here is to get it matched up with the engine cowl that I've painted. And once everything was dry, I was able to take off the masking tape to see whether I had any paint place. I didn't really have any, which was good to know. Sometimes this masking tape, especially the one for the curves, can have little points of bleeding in it. It's really got to be pressed down onto the surface before you paint. Now that both ends are painted, it's time to assemble. They simply go two halves together. It's a very tight fit, like with the other parts, so I really had to press in. I mean, this gets almost like a snap together kit. It's not designed that way, but the fitting is really good. Putting on the exhaust part. Now, these two end parts, there's a location point inside it, which really does help to make sure you get it the right way around, so it doesn't look unbalanced. Sometimes when you're putting those engine cowls on, if you've no locating points or pins, they sometimes don't look right if you don't get them in an exact position. These ones are quite well defined, and it really does help line it up. I did have a little bit of seam issue, just a tiny bit, so I'm just going to sand that off and repaint. But it was the tiniest amount, and all it required was a few bits of touch up and painting. This part to go on is this little open part that goes on the main hull here. Again, I'm not exactly sure what it's for, but it fits in quite well. Looking back on it, I think maybe I should have done it more of a metallic colour than just the matte black, but it still looks nice. Fitting the two halves together, same again with all the rest of the kit. It's a very tight fit and it has to be pressed on quite firmly for the ends to meet. I did use a couple of clamps just to hold it in place, but that was only for about a minute or two, just to make sure nothing was going to slip. Next to go on the back section, that just pushes in without any fuss. Try and make sure that I'm getting it the proper way around. There is a top and bottom part to this, and once it was pressed in quite firmly, it sat quite well. Then it was able then just to touch up the paint once more, just tiny little touch ups as I'm going along. It's now time to put on the decals. As you can see, I fast forwarded this part. They go on the normal way. There was nothing particularly difficult with the decals. Some of the thinner ones that you can see there needed a little bit more alignment than normal, just for the shape of them, but nothing too taxing. For the stand, I'm using Revell Aquacolor 90 Silver, and I'm using this as a base coat, so I'm not putting any finesse into this. I'm just putting one coat on. And while it's driving, I'm going back to the engine to assemble it. There's about 4 parts here that I have to put on. Each one does have its own location point, so it's quite easy to follow it. These pipes have to go in first, because afterwards there is the holding brackets that lay over the top. There are 3 of these, and each one does have its location point, and there's also an indentation in the engine for them to sit proudly. But it's a good idea to dry fit this, because you may need to move the pipes a little bit around. I did, even though they were in the location points, just to get them fitted underneath this bracket. It was fairly simple, but you don't want to wait until it's completely dry to do so. You want a little bit of room to manoeuvre. But once I got one into its proper location, all of the rest fell in quite easily. So I'm just putting in the last one now. And yeah, the fit was really good. I'll just hold that up to the camera a little bit. You may be able to see a little bit better. So it's back to the stand, and the assembly recommends that you don't use any cement, so that's what I'm doing. It is a really tight fit, so you really don't need to have any cement. I quite like the design of this stand. Once you get the cross sections in, the top section which connects to the model has actually got a little bit of rocking movement on it, so you can display it at different angles. I thought that was a very well thought out stand. So now onto the proper painting, and I'm using a new paint here, and the paint is from Villaggio. It's 77.05 gold, yellow, burnt orange, and the class is as a shifter paint. Basically, it's a pearlized paint which will go different shades depending on how the light bounces off it. So while I'm painting this is where I'll end the video. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds? If you hit the notification bell once you subscribe, that'll keep you up to date with this build and all my others in the future as well, of course. Hit that like button, don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.